What's up, everybody? This is Sam. Today I want to do something different. Normally I would go ahead and script out what I want to talk about, have a really defined outline of what I want to go through, but today I just kind of wanted to talk. So I didn't want to have a script or anything like that. I just want to do some research while talking. I might make some cuts just if I have some lag time or lull time in between so we don't have a bunch of white noise. But I just wanted to talk today about financial goals. My personal financial goals and maybe some goals that you have. I think a very common goal is to become quote unquote a millionaire. And there's a lot of different ways that people define this. When I think of a millionaire, I think of your overall net worth. So I think of all of your assets minus all of your debts. And if that is $1 million, then you are technically a millionaire. Some people think that it means that you're making $1 million a year, which, I mean, that's above and beyond what a millionaire is, hopefully, if you're saving. And then some people think that it just means that you have $1 million lying around, in a bank account, which I highly don't recommend. But if you did have that, then, I mean, yes, you're a millionaire, and that's a good problem to have. You might want to look into some different investment vehicles that you can put that money into rather than just a bank account or your mattress. But yeah, so I guess the first thing to define is how many people are millionaires in the United States. So I think that's the first search that I want to do here. Okay, so it says that 3% of the United States is worth over $1 million, which is 11.8 million people. So this should definitely be a goal of yours to be in the top 3%. Now some people are going to say $1 million isn't much anymore. However, yes, it is. It means that you're in the top 3% of all people in the country as far as how much wealth you have. So gaining $1 million should definitely be a goal, and I think it's very achievable. So I want to make sure that you understand what it takes to create $1 million, and just go through different investment types that you can go into in order to accumulate this over time. So I've got a compound interest calculator here, and I want to plug in some numbers. So say that you don't have any money saved up right now, and you are, I don't know, 20 years old or 30 years old, and you want to retire by the age of 50 or 60. So if you are 20 years old and you want to retire by the age of 50, which is a great goal, it's, I mean, unbelievable goal. Most people don't get to do that. So actually, let's say you're 20 years old, you want to retire at 60, so that gives you 40 years. So I'm going to do 40 years of growth. How much do you have to invest every single year in order to get to $1 million over the course of 40 years? So you've got 40 years to grow. Number locks on. And what is the average return in the S&P? S&P 500. So the average return, average 20-year return is 5.9%. 5-year return is, that doesn't make any sense. Let's just look at the overall return. From 1926 through 2018, it was approximately 10 to 11%. So let's just go with 10%. Let's say that you're going to make 10% on this in your investments. And you can definitely beat that. This is just the average. So if you're investing for 40 years at 10%, if you are able to invest $12,000 a year, let's not do 12. If you are able to invest $500 a month or $6,000 per year, that would be 2.9 million. So you would be well above and beyond what a millionaire is by the time you're 60. So let's say that you're able to invest just $2,000 a year for 40 years. That would be $973,000. So if you are 20 years old You invest $2,000 a year, which is, I should be able to do this in my head, but I'm not going to do that on camera. $166 a month for 40 years at a 10% return, you're going to have $973,000 by the time that you're 60. So as you can see, this is very doable. Say that you are 30 years old and you were to retire by the time that you are 60, which I think is a very reasonable goal. How much do you have to be investing then? If you're only investing $2,000 at the age of 30 and you're going to do that for 30 years until you're 60, that would only be $362,000. So let's do the $500 a month or $6,000 a year. You would have $1,085,660 if you are 30 and you are investing $500 a month in something like the S&P 500. So as you can see, this is very doable, but it's going to be long term. You can't think that you're going to be able to invest in something over a 5-year period and get a return. I mean, look how many people were buying Tesla last week. Let's look at Tesla stock right now. Tesla stock right now is down 7% today. Over the course of a month, it's down 33% since its high on February 8th. It is now March 5th. So in the past month, it's down 33%. And a lot of people are expecting, like, they jump into these things and put a ton of money, expecting a huge return. And as you can see, sometimes that really doesn't work out. This is why I completely stay away from any type of day trading, because it's a long-term game. You can do day trading for fun if you're not banking on that to make a lot of money. If you're just doing it like for fun and you know yourself, if you have control of what you are spending and you're only spending money that you're okay with losing, then day trading, whatever, go do that. It's not my thing. But all this speculation around these stocks, like GameStop, obviously GameStop is not worth, it's now up to $135 a share. If you really look at GameStop's financials, if you look at their balance sheets and their financial statements, they should be around $20 a share. However, they are being pumped up to $136. Look, I mean, last year at this exact time, it was $3.96. So if you're jumping into GameStop completely speculatively, you should be willing to lose all of the money that you're pouring into that, because that could go easily down to $4 tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, since tomorrow's Saturday, so Monday. Monday it could go down to $4. And I wouldn't be surprised about that. A lot of people are also going into Bitcoin. Now there's different Bitcoin stocks, Bitcoin in general. I don't buy any Bitcoin. But this is, again, something that is very speculative. I remember in 2017, Bitcoin, they were talking about it going up to $60,000, and people were just jumping in on that, just based on one headline that they read. They're spending tons of money on this. I actually knew people that did this. So they go and buy in at like $15,000, and then it went down to $3,800, $3,400. So you went from $15,000 to $3,400 in the span of a year, when a lot of people were expecting it to go way, way, way up. Now, it did get up to $57,000, but a lot of the people that are going to be jumping in on these trends aren't going to be holding it for the long term, which is another scary thing to think about. So personally, what I do is I have my IRAs. I have a company match where I'm making a percentage back, 100% back on the match. And then I'm putting extra into that. I also have a side IRA. And then I have a side account where I'm just loading it up with ETFs. And then I have another side account which is just single stocks. And the single stocks is something that I started in college. So I had a large income coming in from the sale of Cavs tickets on secondary market. So you got to think there were 4 years there where the Cavs were going to the finals every year, and I had 12 tickets to each game. I mean, you couldn't get into a game for like less than $600. So I took all of that money and I invested it as like an experiment for single stocks. So I mean, I'm guilty of buying single stocks, right? I think it's fun, but it's not enough money to the point where I would be, like ruined if I lost all that money tomorrow. Yes, I would be distraught. I would be upset if that all went down, but I think I'm all right. I mean, most of that, too high of the percentage of my individual stocks are invested in Apple. So I've looked like a genius recently, right? But a lot of us have looked like geniuses recently because the stock market in general has just gone up and up and up. So if you aren't familiar with the history of the stock market and you're just living on these speculative stories, go read about 2008, 2009, and just get an idea as to what could happen. What I seriously think is going to happen soon is I think the market will be going down. It is starting to, but I think it will go down a little bit more because of the $1.9 trillion that we're going to be pumping into this, into the economy. And I think that a lot of people are going to be shifting their investments into bonds because inflation is going to go up. You got to think, we're putting $1.9 trillion into the economy that wasn't there before, and that is going to cause inflation. And with inflation, you get higher bond yields. So, I mean, investing in some bonds might not be a bad idea. I don't think we're going to get to the rate of inflation that we saw in the 1970s where bonds were sky high and stocks were way down. I mean, the entire 1970s, that was the case. I don't think we're going to get to that point. I hope not, because I really want to keep business going, and businesses rely on investors in the stock market. So, yeah, my personal goal, I'm just going to keep going into my company match, Roth IRA, Roth 401k, my personal IRA, and then my two side accounts, the one with the ETFs and then the one with the individual stocks. I'm not putting any more money into the individual stocks since the Cavs are absolutely horrible and I don't make any money on that anymore. But as far as the ETFs, all my wife and I are doing is we have a certain amount that we like to have in our savings account. So after the end of the month, if that number is higher than what our safety net is, then we're going to take all that money and put it into ETFs. And ETFs that we're buying are Vanguard, so it's just like a diverse look at different stocks that are inside the ETFs. Personally, I like the idea of this because what it's going to do is allow me to retire early, because with my IRA accounts, I can't touch it until I'm 59 and a half. I mean, you can touch it, but you're going to be hit with a huge tax, and I don't want to hit that. So right now I'm paying money on the tax money on my income, and then I'm putting that into the ETF, so it's already taxed. And then afterwards, when I'm pulling this out, say when I'm 55 or whenever I'm going to be retiring, then I'm going to have to pay capital gains tax on that. So you're getting taxed again. However, it's going to give me the ability to retire early. And then from there, I want to have a huge nest egg within that. Say that I get it up to $2 million, $3 million. And then I'm going to be pulling a certain percentage out of that I'm going to live on. So let's say that I got that up to $3 million and it's growing at, I said 10% earlier, say it's going to be growing at 8%, but I'm going to only pull out 6% when I'm 55. So 0.06, that would be $180,000 a year from that if I retire and I just live off of 6% of my $3 million ETF. Like, I think that I can struggle through that. I think I will be fine. Of course, inflation and all that, but at that point, I've only got to do that for like 5 years. So then I would be pulling out the rest once my accounts are, once I reach 59.5, then I'm going to be pulling out a percentage of that, and it's going to be way more than this. So I'm thinking long term. I hope that you guys start thinking long term as well, and not just, hop on these trends and just try to get lucky and retire by the time that you're 30. Like, that's probably not going to happen. If it does, great. You hear stories about that all the time, but it's the number of people that it actually works out for is so few. You might as well play the lottery. Seriously, I think your odds of winning the lottery are the exact same if you're hopping on just these trends within the market. And there's going to be a lot of YouTubers on here that tell you what to do and which stocks to buy, and that's great. Again, if you're investing in single stocks, and I've done that too, talk about single stocks and which stocks to buy and which ones I'm looking at. And the reason I do that is because, well, I do have an account where it's just kind of a speculative account, but it's just small amount of money. And if you're going to be doing that, I would do a small amount of money. I wouldn't bank on that for your full retirement. I can't think of a better way to retire than to have a huge nest egg, right? And then you don't cash it out. You just cash out a small percentage of it. A percentage of it that is smaller than what it's growing. So then it just continues to accumulate. And you're going to be able to live off that forever, and then pass something down and actually build something generationally, something that your kids are going to be able to use, your kids' kids are going to be able to use, your kids' kids' kids are going to be able to use. And that's like my goal. That's not going to be the goal for everybody. A lot of people just want to get to their deathbed and have zero in the bank account, which is also fine. I mean, I don't know why anyone would judge someone that wanted to do that either. It's not selfish. You're working for it, and then this is how you want to use it. This is how I want to use mine. So I don't know. I'm open to anyone that wants to, make a additional income and, just live a great retirement. So I hope that you are able to learn something from this. I would love to hear your thoughts. I really want to get more engagement with these. I haven't made nearly enough videos. I think I've had this channel for like 2 years, and I still only have like 40 videos up. Some of them are just horrible. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be more consistent on this. The only person that can make that happen is myself. So I need to spend more time on these. I will get back more to scripted type of videos that go over specific details and specific investment ideas. But this one, I just wanted to, give this a try because I haven't done this before. So I wanted to give this a try and see how this one goes. I hope that you enjoy it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If this works out, then I'm going to make more like this. If not, then I'm just going to go back to the more scripted stuff. But I will definitely be publishing another video next week, and I look forward to seeing you there.